Hello, Peppermint Pals, and happy Huevember! So here's my first video, and I'd like to start with just a little apology. There is a big cut in this. You'll see it go from the picture, being completely white, no paint on it, to having like basically most of the first layer of paint down. And the reason for that is I seriously thought my camera was filming, but apparently it had stopped, and so I'm very sorry about that. There you see the cut. So yeah, sorry again. I'll make sure that doesn't happen in future videos. So in the last clip, you probably saw me opening some brushes. I got new brushes. One, because I needed new watercolor brushes. The ones I have are kind of old. But also, two, I wanted smaller brushes for these smaller pictures that I'm doing for Huevember. So I also did get some new acrylic brushes, just smaller ones. So you'll see me open those at my first acrylic Huevember video, whenever that is. The color today is this bright yellow. My mom even calls it highlighter yellow. And when I first got this picture, or when I first drew it, because remember I draw them randomly, I was a little disappointed. I wanted this picture to be, really dark. I was hoping for a purple or maybe a red. So I was wondering if I just use the yellow for the light from the orb, just the orb and then the light, if it would be prominent enough. But you'll see at the end, it really came out actually really nice and is a very good focal point, and it helped me experiment with a different light source. And I also think this is better than maybe getting a darker color, because if I did that and I made the rest of it dark like I'm doing here, then like that orb in the middle would still be the brightest thing and prominent, or it wouldn't, the light from a darker color, if I made the orb a darker color, just wouldn't be as prominent as the yellow. So it actually did end up working in my favor and going more with the color theme. So I'm really glad about that. It also worked out nicely because not only are the middle ground, aka the girl, in the background darker, but they are also a bit more muted and less saturated colors. So that puts even more focus on the orb and the light, which are, of course, very bright. So not only did I use, or did I paint light coming off the orb with the yellow, but I also used the yellow in the highlights, and I used that background color, that navy color in the background. I used that in the shadows, which made not only a really cool effect with the lighting, but it also helped balance out the piece. So I had a lot of fun playing around with that. One of my challenges was using a light source in the middle. I'm so used to using an overhead light source, or just thinking that kind of way. And with this case, of course, the light source was coming from a different angle, so I had to think, okay, some of the places that I normally put in shadow are actually highlights, and vice versa. So that was a neat little challenge for me, and I really enjoyed it. I think it really helped me think on my feet as an artist, and I'd like to do more light challenges in the future. So yeah, I'm really glad I did this the way I did. So you may notice, of course, I'm using a hairdryer in this clip. I hadn't used it before because, well, one, the paints were actually drying pretty fast. But, here I'm going back and forth between the lights and the shadows, and I want to make sure that they dry quickly and I can go on to the next thing and they won't run together. Also, I wanted to get these out quickly in the morning so that I could go on to the rest of the stuff I had to do that day. So using a hairdryer made it go pretty quick. So yeah, little tip, little cheat there for aspiring watercolorists. You can use a hairdryer to help dry your piece. Just keep it on low, keep it on a cool setting, and be careful how you dry it, because the air could blow the water around and mess up your painting, especially if there's a lot of water in a certain area, unless you want that effect. And then go for it, and you can totally use a hairdryer to make kind of a blowing or a dripping effect with your watercolors. So that's a lot of fun if you want to try that. Of course, this painting didn't call for that, so I didn't do that. Cute little thing that ended up happening is she has bicolored eyes. And it was because I gave her a brown eye, but I didn't like that. So I tried to get rid of it and give her blue eyes. But the brown still kind of showed through. And then on the other one, it was blue. And I didn't even notice it until I scanned it. But yeah, so she has one brown eye and one blue eye. But I kind of like that because it kind of adds to the mysterious fantasyness of this whole picture. So that was just a fun little art coincidence, and sometimes that happens in art. Sometimes mistakes become something really cool. So yeah, I like it. So yeah, getting near the end, and I'll say one more time that in spite of my initial reservations, I really proud with how this turned out, and I'm really glad that I got this as my first piece. You know, it was one of my favorite ones. I just love the concept and the composition of it. And I was really looking forward to getting into watercolors and trying out some new techniques getting back into watercolors, I should say, and trying out some new techniques and trying out my new brushes. So I think I lucked out with matching this one to the color. So there you see, you can look at how well it turned out with the lighting, and thank you for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.